9. It's a very good afternoon to the children of class 9. Now, class 9 children, we were doing with the chapter on working of institutions, isn't it? And as far as I remember, I have done a comparative study of the powers of both the houses, isn't it? The last class which I have done with you. The last class which I have done with you was actually a comparative study of both the houses. Yes or no? Please, one of you, please. Okay. Did I discuss about the special powers of the Indian Rajya Sabha? Discuss about the special power of the Rajya Sabha? Okay, just one before ending this part on we have seen that in the last class we have seen that when we have come to a comparison of the powers of both the houses, we found out that the Lok Sabha enjoys a much more powerful position. Clear? Now, one more thing I will just discuss is that although the Lok Sabha is much more powerful than the Rajya Sabha, two special powers, I will tell you three important powers are actually not important, I will tell you special powers. Special powers have been given to the Rajya Sabha which does not make the Rajya Sabha entirely powerless. Clear? You cannot say that the Rajya Sabha is entirely powerless because there are two special powers or three special powers which are given to the Rajya Sabha. So what are the special powers? First I will discuss this special powers of Rajya Sabha. RS is the Rajya Sabha. First of all, creation and abolition of I told you previously I have discussed three powers of both the houses, legislative, executive and financial, and now I am talking about the special powers of the Rajya Sabha. Although we say two special powers. Why? Because one power is actually given in that part, that is the part where we have learnt about the term of the Rajya Sabha, the term. So the first power is what? Creation and abolition of All India Services, or as you call them IAS, All India Services. So it is to the Rajya Sabha to create All India Service posts, which means that if the Rajya Sabha feels that the number of posts of All India Service is not enough, then it can create those posts. Clear? And if it feels that no, the number of posts have exceeded, that it has become too much, you don't need, the country doesn't need so many of them, then it can abolish them. That means it can remove them. And the second one is see, India is a federation. YAS, ma'am, what is YAS? I did not write YAS, I wrote IAS, I told you. IAS. Who is this one writing kinjal, writing stupid things? I did not say YAS, I told IAS. Are you questioning me or what? See, India is a federation, which means that there are two sets of government. As I've told you before, when I've started this chapter, I've told you that time. One government at the center, which is known as the central government, and we are studying about the central government only here. And another government is the state government, which is found at in every state. Now the question comes that how are the powers divided between the two governments? You know, the powers are actually divided, usually they are divided into three lists by the constitution. One is the union list, that means union list will have, the central government will have power over the union list. The state list, that is where the state government will have powers over it, and another one is the concurrent list. Over the concurrent list, both the central and the state government will have their powers, and one more list is there, it is known as the residuary list. Residuary list means all those subjects which are not included in the three lists which I have just told you now, union list, state list, concurrent list, that powers, you know, they will be included in the residuary list, and the central government will have powers over that list. Now, for example, you see there is a subject in the state list. For example, I will tell you that maybe agriculture. Agriculture is a subject of the state list, but for that particular year, agriculture has become something very important, and the central government, that is the Indian Parliament, wants to make laws over it. So how can the Union Parliament make laws over it? It can ask the Rajya Sabha to transfer that particular subject. For example, I told you agriculture, to transfer that subject from the state list to the union list. Clear? And this subject can be in the union list maximum for 1 year, and after 1 year, when the central government has made laws over it, it will again go back to the state list. Clear? These are the two special powers, and together with that, another power is there which you have already studied, or we have already discussed before, that is this one you have already studied, that even when the Lok Sabha is dissolved, one house will always be there, and which is that house? It is the Rajya Sabha. The Rajya Sabha, as I have already discussed, it is a quasi-permanent chamber, so it never gets dissolved all at once. So even when the Lok Sabha is not there, you will find that the Rajya Sabha is, even if you find that the Lok Sabha is not there, I cannot help dear if a background sound is coming, you know, what can I do? Even if the Lok Sabha is not there, it is dissolved, even then you will find that the Rajya Sabha is present, which means that the Rajya Sabha is not dissolved all at once. Clear? So these are the special powers of the Rajya Sabha, and because of these special powers, or you know, you cannot say that the Rajya Sabha is a powerless house. You can never say that. It has powers, and especially these special powers give a special position to the Indian Rajya Sabha. With this we come to an end with the legislature part. Now I will move to the second organ of the government, and which is the second organ of the government? Who will tell me? Who will tell me that which is the second organ of the government? Very good, yes, Nafisa, very good. It is the executive. So now if I have shown you before that if it is the government, then legislature is the first one, which we have already discussed, the Indian Parliament with the two houses, the executive and the judiciary. So now we will do the second organ of the government, that is the executive. You know, India has a parliamentary form of government. India has a parliamentary form of government. What is organs of government? Now, working of institutions. SST, civics. Acha. So, parliamentary form of government means what? When the first two organs of the government, legislature and the executive, you know, when they have a very close relationship between each other, and whenever the legislature makes laws, the executive comes and participate in it, so that when it is the turn of the executive to implement the laws, what will happen? It will become easy for them. Moinak মনে হচ্ছে, আমি জানি না, আমি চিনি না ক্লাস 9 এর বাচ্চাদের। Now children, after Amrita Banerjee there is one child, I am, what you have written? Mayank, M-A-Y-A-N-K, Mayank, isn't it? Okay. So whenever when the first two organs of the government are having a close relationship with each other, it is known to be a parliamentary form of government. You remember up till this part only. If you go to details, you will become confused. So when the legislature and the executive, that is the first two organs of the government, when they are closely related to each other, we say it to be a parliamentary form of government. So as India is a parliamentary form of government, the executive is also a parliamentary executive, which means that the executive is of two types in India: nominal executive and real executive. Nominal means, you know, only in name. That means one who does not have actual powers or real powers, but he or she is there as a nominal executive. For example, the President and Vice President of India. The President and Vice President of India, they are nominal executive. That means only in name, without many powers. Whereas the real executive is the Prime Minister and his council of ministers. Council means a group of ministers, those who are going to help the Prime Minister in the functioning of the government. That means in running the government of the country, it is the Council of Ministers who help the Prime Minister, and their number is between 80 to 100. That means not more than 80, not less than 100. This is the two kinds of executive which we have in India. Up till this part, is anybody there who is having a problem up till this part? Up till this part, is it okay with you? Nobody is writing, just see. No comments are coming, dear. Up till this part, is it okay that there are two kinds of executive in India? Okay. One is nominal executive, another one is the real executive. So firstly, we will discuss about the nominal executive, and then I will move to the real executive. So the first, nominal executive. The president. So first I will tell you what are his qualifications for becoming a president. First of all, I will tell you the qualification. If one wants to become the president of India, what should be the qualification of that person? First of all, that person should be a citizen of India. Clear? Secondly, should not be less than 35 years of age. Clear? Should be mentally sound. Should not be a bankrupt. Bankrupt means someone who has taken a loan from the bank and have not returned it. And another one point which is very, very important, apart from this one, like should not have a criminal background like us also. When we go give votes, this is also required for us. But one more point which is very important for the president as well as the vice president as well as the Prime Minister of India is that should not hold any office of profit. Should not hold any office of profit. What does this mean? It means that if you are going to become the president of India, if you want to contest the election, remember, you should not be an employee of either the central or the state government. You should not be working as an employee or an officer, whatever, under the central or the state government, or you should not have a private business or a personal business of your own. This is very, very important. Why? Because if you have, then what will happen? All your devotion or dedication will go for that particular job. Clear? But it is very important to be acting as the president of India rather than looking after your own profit. Clear? This is one important point for being the president of India. So if anyone who wants to become the president of India, what should be the qualifications? I told you, not less than 35 years of age, citizen of India, mentally sound, not a bankrupt, not a criminal background, and should not hold any office of profit. Now, term means for how long? 5 years. But this 5 years can be reduced. How? If the president, for example, many presidents of India like Fakhruddin Ali Ahmed, Dr. Zakir Hussain, Sanjeeva Reddy, Neelam Sanjeeva Reddy, you know, these people while in office, they have died before completing 5 years. This can be one point, that is death. Another one is resignation. That means you don't want to continue as the president of India, resigning, you have resigned, this one. Another one is injury, that means fallen sick. Clear? And another one is known to be impeachment. Impeachment is what? Impeachment means removal. Impeachment means removal. And how is the impeachment done? As I have told you, in the ordinary lawmaking process. For example, this is the parliament. Two houses, Rajya Sabha, Lok Sabha. If you want to impeach the president, bill for impeachment. And as it is an ordinary bill, either in the Rajya Sabha or in the Lok Sabha, any of the two houses, for example, maybe Rajya Sabha 2/3 majority, then to the Lok Sabha 2/3 majority, and now can you tell me to whom it should go? While we make a law, when we pass a bill from both the houses, the bill finally goes to someone and it becomes the law. You remember when I was discussing in the legislative power. Do you remember? And the bill should go to the, when a law is being made, the bill after being passed from both the houses, it goes to whom? A bill after being passed from both the houses, the bill goes to whom? So that it can change into a law. Yes, very good. But in this case, dear, we are impeaching or removing the president. So it cannot go to the president. So it will go to the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of India. It should go to the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of India. And if the Supreme Court of India Justice says that yes, all the allegations which has been made against the President of India are true, then the President is impeached, means removed from office. But one information I will give you, that till today no President of India has ever been impeached. This is one situation when the term can be reduced, but the term can also be increased when, you know, whenever there is an emergency in the country and another election for the president cannot take place. So in that case, what happens? The president can be asked to continue for 6 months or at the most 1 year. Clear? After that, when the next president is elected, this president will move from his office. This is the term of office and the impeachment procedure I have told you. Now, how is he elected? He is elected by a body, and the name of that body is the Electoral College. An Electoral College is made up of whom? They are made up of the MPs. MPs means member of the parliament plus MLAs. MLAs means member of legislative assembly. Both are the first organ of the government. Legislature, parliament, central level, legislative assembly, state level. Both are legislatures. So MPs and MLAs are the members of the Electoral College. But remember, only elected members, not nominated members. As we have discussed that in the Rajya Sabha there are 12 nominated members, in the Lok Sabha there are 2 nominated members. So those people will not be allowed to vote. Clear? Only elected members, they will go and they will give their votes for the president. And one more thing is that, you know, the President of India, he gets a fixed salary at present. As far I remember is that it increases, you know, maybe 1.5 lakhs. And together with that, it comes from the Consolidated Fund of India, which means that his salary can never be reduced. Whatever may be the situation in the country, whatever, his salary is fixed. And together with that, he gets so many other facilities. Free Rashtrapati Bhavan, you know, Rashtrapati Bhavan, he lives there, it is his office. Free car, free medical checkup, free foreign tours, things like that. All these are the things which the president gets after getting appointed as the President of India. With regard to the powers, I will discuss in the next class. Hardly 2 to 3 classes I will take, and your syllabus for class 9 will be over. Thank you very much. Sir, ওরে বাপ রে স্যার কি জোরে এটাতে যে কারেন্ট মারছে আমি বলছি